Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Yeah.
Alright, you ungovernable misfits. I'm your host, Max. Everybody knows that Bitcoin is useless, worthless, and doomed to fail. But what if everyone's wrong? What if it's the system that is doomed to fail? Join me as I speak to some of the brightest people in the space and slither to the deepest, darkest depths of the Bitcoin rabbit hole. Today's episode is something I recorded a couple of weeks ago. It's with Rebel Money Art. Rebel Money has joined 21ism a few weeks ago and he's a fucking legend. I really have enjoyed getting to know him. Really down-to-earth guy, very, very bright, and yeah, pleasure to work with him every day. And I thought, look, let's get him onto the show. If you're not already following him, if you haven't already seen his art, if you haven't already checked out his interview with Crypto Graffiti, all of those links are in the show notes below. Go and check them out. And before we dive in, I just want to say thank you to CoinFloor UK. You've been sponsoring this show from the beginning. I really appreciate that. And for anyone who is thinking, right, I can't be bothered with all this KYC free stuff, I want to go and buy some sats and I want them now, at least go to a decent exchange. And the only one I honestly can recommend is CoinFloor. They have an amazing team. They have very, very good security. Use them with proof of reserves. I still think they're the only exchange out there who is doing proof of reserves. It really is quite telling. And if you want to check out my interview with Obi, it was a few months back now. I really need to get him back on. But proper Bitcoiner, proper bloke. I always tell you, go and buy KYC free. I know some of you won't. Go and use CoinFloor if you're not going to. Rebel Money, are you there? Are you lurking?
I'm lurking.
There he is. Sorry, I don't know what's happening with my fucking internet as usual. It would be lovely to see your face. Just know that I'm sat here with a candle burning, really sort of intimate scene, and that is what you would be seeing if I had better internet.
Sort it out, Max.
It's pathetic, isn't it?
It
I've got
is,
to do
mate.
one job. It's so bad. Every single episode. Really, really poor. People come to expect that from me now, I suppose. But nice to have you on, mate.
It's an absolute joy to be here. I'm not going to lie. This is my first podcast. This is my first rodeo that I've been interviewed for. So, yeah, happy to be here, mate. And honoured to be on here. And you've had so many amazing guests on here. And it was an absolute joy to be asked to come on and have a chat with you. So thank you.
It's all been leading up to this moment, mate. I've been waiting. So, yeah, thank you for coming on. It's been cool, actually, looking through your website and looking through your art. I didn't know when you joined 21ism anything about your background. I didn't know anything. I still don't, and we're going to get into some of it a little bit more today. But it was really cool chatting to you the other day and looking through the website and looking at your art because you got some awesome stuff on there. I just wasn't expecting it, to be honest. I was just like, this guy seems to know about marketing. Like, he understands all this stuff that I don't. Like, I just wasn't seeing the creative side. And then I saw it and I was like, fuck, this is really cool. So I wanted to sort of dig into that a little bit, even before we get into the Bitcoin stuff, and say, like, where did this creativity come from? And what were you doing before you had the Bitcoin related stuff? Have you always been working? Have you always been an artist?
So this is the funny thing about it, Max. In a weird and wonderful way, I still don't consider myself an artist, and that's perhaps not because of my ability. I don't know. It's just something I was doing in my spare time. To be honest with you, I started doing. I've always been kind of creative throughout my whole life and done some interesting things. But I really kind of warmed up to it about 7, 8 years ago now. So I would just went through a really tough time, and had a bit of a mental breakdown at the time. It's getting dark quite quickly. This interview.
No, it's good. It's good. We can loop back to the darkness, because I always like to take it dark. I always like to really take it dark on this podcast. So we'll loop back to that. Let's do the positive side of it. You found something from that darkness, and that was art. And so what happened there? Like, how did it help? And why art? What happened?
It's just I felt at the time, I felt just a bit. I just felt I needed to reconnect with the world, needed to express myself, and so yeah, I've done that. Always done a lot of music. I've written a lot of songs for artists, and so yeah, I just fancy trying out myself, and so I just turned my hand to a little bit of street art and spray paint, etc., and other forms. And so, yeah, it's been an absolute revelation for me, and something that I now want to continue and hopefully do more of as best as I possibly can.
Do you remember what that was like, that time where you first did something creative? Can you remember that feeling of just being like, right, I need to create? Like, was it a want, or was it like a need? And can you remember a moment that grabbed you, and what it was that you started with?
I think it's in every human being, the desire and want to create. If we're going philosophical on things, I think that's just inbuilt within us. For me, I think that the bit I always remember. So when I was going around doing my street art, I remember putting stickers up, and and bear in mind where I am now. I was in a deserted street, with one lamppost at the end, and it was bright. It was dark. There was me, probably a few roosting pigeons, and I was just really scared of putting a sticker up. Plucked up the courage to do that, really quickly. Funny now. And then every day I walk past it on my way to work. And for me, that was almost like it was quite funny, quite liberating. It seemed quite simple, and it reconnected me to the world in a weird and wonderful way. It's like that was my mark on the world, a very, very small mark. I really hope the pigeons appreciated it. Me going around and defacing their neighborhood, but and then it kind of just carried on from there, and now I've just thrown myself into it, and now it's good. And yeah, I don't know. Have you? I know you're the one supposed to be asking questions. I know you're a fantastic artist yourself. Have you sold any art at all?
Firstly, yes, I am. I'm fucking amazing. Really, really fantastic
modest,
artist.
Modest artist as well. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I also don't really think of myself as an artist. I think it's because it's a bit wanky. Like, I don't know, there's something about it where if someone's like, oh, I'm an artist, it's like, no, you create. So like, I create stuff that I like, and it makes me feel a certain way. And then if people like it, it makes me feel good. I'm like, oh yeah, they like that. But it's not something that... It's not something that necessarily, like, I always put a massive amount of thought into. It's just that something will hit me, something will strike me, it'll be a thought or a feeling, and I need to get something out of me. And so the thing that's really helped me has been art, like a similar story, and we won't go down this sort of dark path right now, but people who listen to the show will know this. The reason I started my art was because I was really in a bad way, like really, really not happy or healthy in any way mentally. And I just started painting in the evenings for, I don't know, just to get some emotion out, to feel again, to like you say, try and connect. And it just became a complete addiction. It was just like I dropped everything else, had to paint all night, every night. And it made me feel better. It made me It's sort of almost like, some people say writing a diary helps them process the way they're feeling and why they're feeling a certain way. I can't write very well. This was my way of expressing it. And so, yeah, like you said, I don't think of myself as an artist, but I love creating. And I think that's like a nice way to be. Like, almost if it becomes a profession, it's no longer, there's like a fine line where it no longer is so fun because you're doing it as your work. Does that make sense?
It most certainly does. Yeah, that's the whole idea of, I think, being an artist and a creative, is that the freedom to try and do as you please, to create as you will, and then well, if people like it, great, isn't it? But it's not the be all and end all. So I think you're right there.
I like your stuff that I've seen so far. I've not seen all the street art, but the two paintings that you've done, the Bitcoin specific ones, really, really cool. They're very layered. They've got a lot of depth to them. And I think, even if you're not into Bitcoin, they really pop. They're really like come alive and really, really interesting. So were they your first Bitcoin related work?
Yes, that's the first time I've kind of turned my hand to anything Bitcoin related in terms of the art. But it's just, I just guess it's kind of my style. I don't know. Yeah, you're the first person to see it, Max. So besides
I'm very
me,
privileged.
well, and so you should be, my friend. This is it, world exclusive interview, world exclusive,
That's it.
art reveal.
Is it live now?
I think the website's live anyway, but people.
Do you want to quickly shill it now for anyone who's listening? You might want to go and check it out. Shill the website.
Yeah, it's. I think this is the live podcast now, Max? Or is
I won't edit any of it out. I might edit a couple of my ums and ahs and pauses, but other than that, everything stays in.
You're perfect the way you are, Max. Don't change a thing.
Thank you.
Mate. No
That's really sweet.
It's rebelmoney.art. So if you want to have a check it out. It's actually, I don't know if it is complete, but I don't think it's ever complete. I was talking to Crypto Graffiti the other day as part of the 21ism, and that was incredibly eye-opening. And he the way he talked about his art and what Bitcoin art should be and shouldn't be and things like that. So I might have to go and have a little look at my art and not change a few things, but just take some inspiration from it and move things around. But some of his work's really inspiring. But but if you want to go and have a look there, shill it. If you like it, wonderful. If you don't, well, there we
Tough
go.
shit.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? We all like what we like, and sometimes it can't be explained. I've had it with my work. Some people come in and they just love something. They just go, I don't even know why. I love this painting. And sometimes they go, I just don't get this one, or I don't like it. And it's like, it's such a personal thing. And I also don't think that they ever necessarily are finished. Like, I find if something's around me and I walk past it enough, sometimes it will come back off the wall and it will go back into the studio because I'm like, no, I want to change this. And so, sometimes a painting's been 5 different paintings before it actually ends up going and being sold. The longer they lurk around, I'm just like, right, no, I need to do something with this. So they're not necessarily ever done. They're like a constantly evolving thing. And I think that is one of the reasons why I particularly like the space we're in. I think a lot of creatives are drawn to it is because nothing's static. Nothing seems to have really many boundaries. And that reminds me a lot of being in the studio. It's like anything's possible. Whatever I can imagine pretty much can happen. And it's an exciting experience. And I think that's what this space offers, is like, you're never bored in this, you're never bored in Bitcoin because there's always something happening. And most of the time, the things that are happening are fucking world changing. It's a breath of fresh air from the sort of normal world, let's call it, and how people are behaving and acting and how stagnant things feel. Was it a similar experience for you coming in as an artist and seeing this thing? How was that entry to the space? Like, how did you get drawn into this? Was it through the art or was it through something else?
It was through for me, and that's where my name has come from. It's Rebel Money, so it's Bitcoin for me is the ultimate form of protest, and that's what the angle I came at it from. And Self Bank, a good friend of ours, yeah, he shilled Bitcoin to me. My word, that guy,
He's good at that. He's a very good shill.
he's relentless, isn't he? So. Yeah, he's a top guy.
So he brought you into it then?
He did. So I'd actually, yeah, the whole kind of three, was it three touch
Three
points?
touches.
Yeah. So I actually mined Bitcoin back probably about 2014, something like
really?
that, on my laptop or something like that, as part of a mining pool. Tried it and thought, yeah, this is great, whatever. Completely forgot the keys, and it wasn't much Bitcoin, but then probably a decent amount now, and then kind of forgot about it for a bit. Looked at the whole thing around 2017 to thought, it's this probably isn't going to work around block sizes, and because it was supposed to be a substitute for cash. Then then at a protest or demonstration with Self-Banked, and there is actually a video on the internet somewhere of at the actual point, the actual documented point of me or him shilling me Bitcoin.
That's amazing.
There is, it's on there. So without doxing him, it's on there at the very point. And so since then, that was late 2019 or 2019, something like that. And since then, got on board with that. But sorry, a bit of a long path to go around. But that's what really got me eventually with Bitcoin is all these protests everywhere, all this show of which is great. You do still need some kind of social showing. That's quite important. But the ultimate protest is Bitcoin. That is the one thing that will hit the powers that be the hardest, is in their pockets. Anything else is they can just shrug off and it'll just be forgotten about. So that's for me, and then that's provided my inspiration then in Bitcoin, and as a liberating source for all things. So yeah.
And can I ask you, without doxing you, what you were protesting against, what you were raging against at the time when Self-Banked?
Raging against the machine in general. I can't go into too much, otherwise it might.
Okay.
But okay. It was good, and they were. I think Self-Bank was wearing a Guy Fawkes mask as well, so he's the real deal. And no, it wasn't it wasn't on the film set at all for anything. It was like a proper.
I love that he's doing what the sort of the institutions and the governments do. He's taking you at a time where you're feeling a lot of emotions, heightened emotions, and then he's just whispering in your ear. He's like, "Have you heard about Bitcoin?" Just using those emotions to hook you, and it's clearly worked.
Yeah, he's done a decent job.
He's done a very good job.
It wasn't that night as well. He just kept going as well. This is the thing. Honestly, he just won't stop. I don't know if anyone's met Self-Banked out there, but he's a persistent bastard. I'm not going to lie, but a lovable, persistent bastard. So, I genuinely have in a weird and wonderful way, he's changed my life for the positive. So, and I've let him know that. So, if he's listening, I just want to say thank you very much. The trajectory my life has taken has changed dramatically from his intervention. So, thank you very much.
And what a massive change it is. These people that introduce us, the same. I've had the person who introduced me on this show, one of the early episodes. I'll always thank him for it. It was very, very bad timing for me, and it changed the course of my life quite drastically. But it was something that I can't imagine now going back and not sitting down with him and him not taking the time to explain and being very clever about the way that he explained it to me, choosing things that would pique my interest, things that would matter to me. And yeah, without him, I probably wouldn't have found this, or it would have been much later. It would have been when there was good enough material, good enough, which is kind of getting there now, I suppose. But where these ideas, these grand concepts could be condensed into something that could be listened to over the course of an hour or something like that to get the basic idea. But it wasn't like that then. And these people that do take the time, yeah, they might badger you and people get annoyed, but it can change lives. And I think that's probably why we all do it still. Like, I'm sure you are also an annoying Bitcoiner and you get told to shut up by lots of people and people wish you'd stop. But I hope that the ones that you have convinced will thank you as well.
Well, you've obviously talked to the people I've interviewed on 21ism. Poor Skrilla, poor Crypto Graffiti. They think I'm an annoying Bitcoiner there. I did invite Crypto Graffiti over for some tea and cheese sandwiches, actually. So yeah, he hasn't arrived yet. I'm not gonna lie, he's quite busy, I think, at the moment, doing some incredible art. So
yeah, some amazing stuff. What's it been like for you diving in and doing the interviews?
It's been liberating. One of the highlights of my lockdown, basically, Max. A very grim time, I think, for us all being caged like this. But I really, as you could probably tell by listening to my voice, quite a gregarious person. Like to get out there every so often, and talk to people, and that's really been taken away from me as well. Experiencing other cultures. And then to come along and join 21ism, which I'm very grateful for the patience of everyone there. My word, that going out now and exploring not only just different people's mindsets, thoughts, experiences, but these are people that are changing the world and through their art. It's just mind blowing to me. It's just Crypto Graffiti and Skrilla, two OGs on the, so Skrilla working with or minting rare Pepes at the start, if you know your history, and then Crypto Graffiti kind of doing not quite in that circle, but just doing stuff along the same side. And I'm interviewing them in my kitchen. What's going on? What is going on? In what sphere, in what world do you have these incredible artists who, in my opinion, we'll look back from now in years to come and see them as visionaries? And I've had the absolute pleasure of talking to them for a bit. So yeah, it blows my mind thinking about it, and 21ism is where it's at, and it's definitely been the highlight of my 2021 so far, and the end of 2020 as well. So
yeah, it gives some excitement in life again. It's something where you can really see some change. You can be part of a movement that is going to be massive. I think all of us are in agreement that we are right at the beginning of this thing, and the change that will come from it. You're talking about, you were at a protest and Self-Banked was whispering in your ear and pestering you, and it's changed the course of your life. How many more people is it going to change the lives of, and how effective this protest is going to be? And I totally agree with you, and that's one of the things that really excited me early on, is that it takes the power from people who otherwise couldn't have it taken from them. I can't think of another way to do it. I think that it's just genius the way this whole thing has been set up. It's taking many different forms, and it's bringing in people from all different walks of life and with different views. It's like it's alive. It's something so special, and that, like you say, when we look back in history, I think this stuff's going to be taught in schools. The time that we're going through now is going to be in the history books and written about, and the community is still so tiny. The fact that, like you're saying, like you're interviewing these guys in your kitchen, some of the people that I have on the show blow my mind still. You know, people that I've been reading when I was first trying to wrap my head around this, people I consider to be some of the smartest people on the planet and who are really changing this world for the better. And we get to communicate with them, and it's pretty addictive. It's like it's hard to step out from this world now.
It is. It's all encompassing now, and well, like everyone, it's there's not a day goes by where I don't think about something to do. Well, an hour goes by where I don't think about something to do with Bitcoin. Yeah, and I've now passed on some of that enthusiasm as well to some of my friends as well, and now they're benefiting from it. So, and my family. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome. And are they sort of any of them as into it as you are, or are getting to that point, or is it just NGU still for them? Because you do see a progression, don't you? Like I've noticed with people, very few who have listened to me, there is a progression and there are steps, like milestones that you can see in their behavior and the way they're thinking about it. And you're like, oh, you're there on your journey. You're about here on your journey. Are you seeing that with the people you've introduced?
definitely. Yeah, there's my brother, he's started off, and he was. You could see it when he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait till Bitcoin is like $50 cheaper, and then I'm gonna get some," And I'm just like, "Oh, just
Yeah.
just buy the damn Bitcoin, man. Just it doesn't. Does. I don't think you understand. It's the whole zoom out thing in whatever it is. Well, it would say 50 years, but it's probably going to be less than that at the rate it's going. It's not really going to matter. And then like yesterday, so you had all that, and it's like, oh, I don't know whether should have a balanced portfolio. Him talking about that, and then yesterday I got a text from him going, laser raise until 100K. So what's going on? I'm like, what's gone on there? And we're talking, a 2 month type period, but I'm slowly drip feeding stuff from him, and yes, it obviously starts with the NGU number go up, and that's definitely bringing him. But now you can see it as the utility, and now it's made him question everything. It's made for him in particular. He's found the finance, as in the financial world, stocks, etc., self-sovereign, and personal wealth, and how and lessons from Bitcoin in that, because it teaches so much stuff. I've looked at the politics side, things like that. You always gravitate, and the art, obviously. So you always gravitate towards your favorite bits in Bitcoin. I know you enjoy your technology, don't you? And your
No,
you love
no,
it, Max. You love it.
no. I get so frustrated with it. It drives me up the wall. I'm useless with technology, but I think it's really important. So I'm forcing myself. But it's definitely not the thing I find the most interesting.
What is the thing you find the most interesting?
Taking power from people who are taking the piss. That is what gets me out of bed in the morning. That's what allows me to sleep at night, is just knowing that you fuckers, your time's coming. And nothing excites me like that. But there's only so much, like you can get to a point where you understand what this thing can do, and you understand the implications, and you understand how it's going to probably play out. But you then got to use the tools that are available to make things better for yourself and also teach others. And so that's kind of why I'm being schooled by Bitcoin Q&A and Catan and all these guys who are very, very good at it. And they're sort of dragging me along to learn. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing what it can do. I'm just not very good at doing it yet.
It is. Some of the technology involved is, from an artist's point of view, is absolutely, it's just mind blowing. So we were having a chat about this the other day about certain payment systems. So things like Sparkbot, and so crowdfunding a piece of art, but having a piece of art, and then through the Lightning Network, then removing bricks that the community can pay to remove a brick through the Lightning network there, and then you have a complete image for everyone to enjoy at the end of it.
Yeah, that's
Things
really
like
clever.
that. It's mental. And then that I'm convinced if you apply that technology to music, where you can actually crowdfund an album by removing blocks, or the next album after the one you record it. So there's so much intrigue there, and Crypto Graffiti applied this principle to working with in Venezuela, where actually by each person he did a bit more physically, so removed a bolivar that he painted, and by doing that, then it that money then went to education around Bitcoin in Venezuela. And it was taking down the face of a dictator off the wall on these bolivars. So
Brilliant.
so there's it's absolutely crazy, and the way it's going to change our lives is mental. It's we can get paid by the second. So in future, after this, Max, I won't send you the invoice, mate. All right, it's going to be.
I can't afford it.
Okay, yeah, well, it's true, mate. You can pay me by the second in Lightning.
Yeah.
To hear my sweet voice, So,
and we all would.
Well, you've either got it or you haven't, Max, haven't you? So
that's it. But yeah, this is all this Lightning Network stuff is, I think, one of the things that unlocks the potential for these like crazy ideas. And I find it weird that people get so in their camp and so like annoyed at each other. Like there's so many people who are like, oh, fucking the Lightning Network, it's pointless, it's shit, why are you even caring about that? And then there's everyone has their sort of stance, but at the end of the day their opinions don't matter. And being able to put these ideas into reality, like you're saying, like the streaming of money, crowdfunding, all these different applications that it will have. I mean, I actually use it now on Sphinx, where people are streaming my podcast and I'm earning sats for it. Like it's not something that's being imagined. It's not 2.5 years ago when I'm listening to Andreas Antonopoulos talk about it and I'm getting all excited about this streaming money thing and thinking of all the applications and going, oh my fucking God, this is amazing. Imagine when that happens. It's literally happening now. Like it's right at the beginning, but it's happening. And yeah, it blows my mind. And you've come up with, you were talking to me about lots of things that I hadn't even considered. So is it the Lightning Network and these sort of applications that is exciting you the most at the moment? Is there anything else that you're finding as or more exciting?
I think the Lightning Network is obviously holds a lot of excitement at the moment because the Bitcoin base layer is supposed to be boring by default, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're lucky, we might get SegWit or whatever. Taproot in the next decade or so. If everyone decides to use it. So I got a bet with a mate actually if we're going to get it by the end of the year. So
what side are you taking?
I'm going on the side of yes because I have faith, and I think that the pace that Bitcoin is taking over the world at the moment, I think everyone's going to have to get their asses in gear a little bit more. So that'd be quite nice.
It doesn't seem like there's any real downside as far as I can understand it. I don't see why anyone would object to it. It seems everyone seems to be pretty like chill about it. So yeah, I would probably be on your side of the bet there as well. If we get it, great. If we don't, we still keep on going. Like there's not, will happen at some point. It's not like make or break stuff as far as I can understand it.
This is the thing. With the base layer, let it crack on. Leave it be and just let it get on with it. And then, in my opinion, all the work, I say work, all the bollocks that's been done on Ethereum.
You hold heavy bags still, don't you?
I don't hold any heavy bags. I just really don't like Ethereum. It goes against everything, centralized system. Oh, I was explaining.
Should we shit on it quickly for just...
I do.
Let's take 4 minutes to just allow ourselves to shit on it, because I still have, and I'm sure you do as well, people who you introduce who will just say, oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of buying this Ethereum, and I'm thinking of buying it, and yeah, it does all these things. Should we just do a quick shit on Ethereum session and explain like why it doesn't fucking work and why it's a waste of time?
We can do. I'm trying to stay really humble here because the Ethereum, what are they called? The Ethereans, knobheads, whatever they're called. Yeah,
Meth heads.
Yeah, I got to stay humble because, oh God, Max, they are going to come over to our side eventually, and it's just like,
Yeah, of course they are.
It's only a matter of time.
We're not shitting on them as people. We're
Oh no,
shitting
definitely
on
not. No,
what they think is worth investing in and spending time on, which it just isn't. If they just all put their focus and attention into something that matters, which is Bitcoin, it would be a much better place, and it'd be a lot less time wasted, in my opinion. It is a waste of time.
it is. It is. I understand from what they're trying to do. I understand that, and they're trying to move fast and break things.
Lots of things.
And that's not how you build a monetary network or anything that lasts a long time. If the whole like you move fast and break things was not going to last, then is it? By definition. So what is great is it is a wonderful test net for Bitcoin, and it's a wonderful test net for some of the Lightning apps that I think just going to basically go into. So they're going to migrate from Ethereum over to Bitcoin. I was talking to old Skrilla, my boy Skrilla, and top lad, by the way. Can I just say, what an absolute gentleman, lovely chap. He summed it up. He wants his art to live forever, and so how is he going to do that? As there's only one network that is going to last forever, and that is the Bitcoin network, or last the longest anyway. So it's yeah. I do get upset by these lot, but then I just have to stay humble and just stay positive. It's no good in winding myself up. Although I do get, when I see Vitalik's face, I do get actually slightly nauseous though. So I'm just not gonna lie.
It's an annoying face.
It is. He's probably a nice guy, mate. Personally, nothing personal against him. It's just.
Do you think he knows though? But like,
Well, he's got an annoying face.
Yeah. No. Do you think he knows that what he's doing doesn't end well? Like, I would probably think that he started with good intentions. I think a lot of people will disagree with that, but like, I have a hunch. I think like maybe he thought that it was going to be a good idea. But do you think he knows now? Because if he does know now, then I think fuck him, because he's stringing a lot of people along. He is going to cause a lot of issues. And what is irritating is when they come up with the sort of FUD against Bitcoin to try and lure people over to their shitcoin. And that's annoying because it's stopping people from actually finding something that would be a life raft for them and actually can change the world by just trying to confuse them. And I find that quite irritating.
Yeah, I think well, I've grown up around geeks, Max, and I've surrounded some of them with my best friends, and they're wonderful at making things and just trying to make things work. There isn't, however, a lot of foresight that goes on, and I just think he's got in too deep. And now it's something that you can't. The VCs piled in, again using art and NFTs, and they completely took that over to the Ethereum network, which was originally on the Bitcoin based chain. So yeah, I think it's just too big now. It's beyond his control. He's the figurehead, and he just doesn't know what to do. That's why, because I despite the way I come across, I generally like to see the best in people, and I hope that I think he's just gone way past him now, and yeah, I think he's just helpless. That's not to say, in fairness, what would you do in his situation now if you had all these investors?
Honestly,
yeah, I know what's coming, but go on.
Honestly,
yeah.
Firstly, I would never be able to build what he's built. I'm not some fucking smart guy who can just like think this thing up and code it. But if I was, and I still thought the way that I do now, I'd be honest. There's one thing I pride myself on. I'm like not the smartest guy in the room. I can be quite rude sometimes and be quite abrupt, but I'll always tell the truth because I think it's the most efficient way to live your life. You'll always live in regret when you're not honest. It causes so many issues. It makes you a worse person. It's almost like a cancer. The more lies you have within yourself, it eats away at you. And so I'll always just be honest. And I would just say, look, I meant the best. I tried something, right? It didn't fucking work. I'm sorry. Buy Bitcoin.
That would be really refreshing, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He's never going to do it, but genuinely that's what I would do. But, you know, we don't have the same mind, and he can do things I can't, and maybe I can do something he can't, and that's tell the truth.
Wonderful. Well, so can we get you into office, Max? Would that be all right?
No, fuck that.
What we'll do is we'll set up a lightning wallet for you, and that's it. And then we'll put your smiley little face behind on an image.
Thank you.
And then we'll just take the bricks away.
Fuck that.
And then we'll release an album. We'll release an album, mate. Max for PM, and then yeah.
Oh my god! Not for all the tea in China would I ever do something like that. I just don't think there's going to be a need for it. That's one of the things you were talking about. You know, you're at this protest, you're raging against the machine. You see this as an active form of protest, and we fully agree there. What do you see this thing changing? Let's say in the next 5 years, because it's easy to say 50. I think we can all agree this completely fucking changes everything within 50. I think without question. But in the next 5, like, what do you see changing, and how do you see this protest moving? And yeah, basically, what changes?
That's going to bring about to society, or just in general?
In general, like, what changes does it make to this world? What changes does it make to people's freedoms? What changes does it make to accountability of governments and banks and all the people that have the control now? What do you see changing in that time frame? And it's short, 5 years.
Annoyingly, I got to be honest, I don't think there's going to be a massive change in the next 5 years. I'd like to be, I'd like to go full breed love on you, but I just don't have that gear in me, I'm afraid. So, but I do think people in power will get scared. That is genuinely the way I think it's going to go. And before there's a period where there will be, say 50 years or whatever it might be, the whole Citadel thing, I think it's going to, the divide is going to be people with Bitcoin and people without Bitcoin. And it's, or people who got in earlier and then people who perhaps come in a little bit later. The future is inevitable. It's going to happen whether anyone likes it or not. And I think there's going to be some resistance on the way because these people have stayed in power for so long. They've carved it out. They've made a system where there's no way they can lose. So you look at, as a microcosm of that, what's happened with GameStop stocks, where they just, if they don't like it, they'll just freeze you out of it. So I'm obviously I'm hopeful for the future, and like anything that is built strong and built to last, it happens very, very slowly. Not you, Ethereum chain. So it's something that takes time. It brings people in organically. It's not about, and that's what I love about Bitcoin as well. Just brings people in slowly but surely. It's not this huge marketing campaign. It's just something very slow, very organic. I personally believe Bitcoin is extremely close to nature in the way it's structured and operates as well. So I think it's, even though it's obviously on a man-made network, I believe the way it operates and the way it infiltrates and everything is just incredibly organic. Which is a weird statement, I guess. So yeah, I think it's going to get quite nasty, to be honest with you, at some point. But that's fine because we'll all go and live in the 21ism citadel somewhere, and yeah, it's going to be a great place,
get some land, get back to nature, have some sort of freedom again. It was interesting what you're saying about, Bitcoin being like nature. A few people have sort of drawn this conclusion, and I said earlier, like, it feels like it's alive. This is something that's living. It really feels living. And a few people have drawn parallels with mycelium, and I've heard people say, "Oh, it's kind of like bamboo. It goes down and it spreads its roots over a long period of time, and then suddenly, bang, it's up. And once it's there, it's almost impossible to remove." And I think that's a nice way of looking at it, because again, it sounds a bit sort of maybe a little bit crazy, but I kind of think maybe this is almost Mother Nature. This is something that just had to happen. This is like a way of bringing us back and the world back to like a reality, a way to bring us back off a path that was going to be very, very dangerous. And it almost does feel like it's like an inevitable, or it's meant to be, and it's like a savior, which sounds a bit weird and almost religious-y. But do you know what I mean by that? Like, it's bringing us back to where we should be as human beings, and bringing us back to like humanity, like, treating each other right, family values and this kind of stuff.
I completely agree. I think it's I think as human beings, our brains and minds have been hijacked by the media, and we've just got so good at manipulating each other. And you look at, I, as you say, I've done work in advertising and marketing and things like that, and the whole concept of, if you're an excellent marketer, the good marketers, they target your logical brain. The excellent marketers, the great marketers, are the ones that go for the lizard brain, the bit that you can't control. And I feel that, as you say, that is going too far, and it's like you say, like the Gaia theory, like you're trying to get at there. I think Bitcoin is a counterbalancing measure that, as you say, was inevitable at some point, because we've been just taking the piss for so long, and it just cannot keep going the way it is. So it is a force of nature, and that's what makes it so inevitable, and why I've got so much faith in it. So yeah, I went off on one a little bit spiritually there, Max. So
No, I like it. I think you're right, and it's something that I think about a lot. And I used to think about probably a lot more when I had the time and I wasn't diving into the tech stuff so much. It was something I really thought quite deeply about, bringing it back to that dark side. And what we were talking about before, I think by the sounds of it, we've both experienced a point in life where we questioned what was around us and didn't feel that anything was right. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's how I felt. I felt like my life was pointless. I felt that what I was doing with it, although I was actually earning quite well and I had the toys and I was having a lot of fun in life in some ways, it felt really shallow and empty, and like I was almost like I was lying to myself about what was important. And I just thought, well, when I die, I don't know that I've made a positive change to this world. I think if anything, my existence has been pointless, and at worst, it's actually been detrimental. And so it really made me question everything. It made me lose the plot a little bit and question everything and completely have to rethink my entire life. And I think that's probably why when I found Bitcoin and started to understand it, I went from a place of complete despair to hope. And that's sort of what you were explaining there about sort of that the healing power and bringing humans back to being human. I wasn't seeing a lot of human behavior. I was seeing a lot of really to get by and do well, you had to be quite a selfish arsehole, and that the way people were treating each other was pretty despicable, and the things that people valued were not actually important. They were not real. Everything felt fake, and it just didn't feel It didn't feel like it was certainly anything I wanted to experience for much longer, or anything that I wanted to bring children into. And I think that changes with Bitcoin. And so, like, again, like I say, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but was it a similar feeling that you had, or like, why did you feel the way you did, and actually come to art to try and get over it, or find yourself again?
Well, I think we're reasonably similar-ish age. I'm not sure, mate. I don't know how old you are, but
46.
thought so, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, you look fucked. Yeah,
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty similar.
There's it just feels like we've been on this conveyor belt for so long. You know, you go to school, you go to primary school, you're told exactly what to draw, write, whatever it might be. You're almost shaped into this machine that can do tasks that is expected to use in society, which it does contribute to a good society. I'm not disputing that fact, but how many bankers, accountants do we need? And we're told by parents in obviously good faith that you've got to do this in order to be successful, etc. And there's that pushing, there's that, and that certainly again, I don't know if it's happened to you, happened to me, and I went down a path. Feels like I've lived around about 3 or 4 lives. In uh, the path I started on was completely not anywhere near arts or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is happening a lot, and people are beginning to question now to come off that, and Bitcoin does make you question things. The fundamentals, well, money obviously is a key fundamental. You begin to question money. You begin to question. Obviously, I've always questioned authority has been part of my character, but actually in a constructive manner rather than just going off on one. So I do think it's. I think we are conditioned in the way we are from an early age. I mean, there was a story my mate was telling me, and it was have you heard the one about the fisherman? Um, it's not a long story, Max, so don't worry, I won't bore you or the listeners.
I was thinking I've heard a few fisherman stories, but I don't know which one it would be.
I'll go with this one. All right, this is, by the way,
go on.
storytelling is not one of my strengths, as you're just about to find out right now. All right, there was this fisherman, Max, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And business guy came up to me and said, "Oh, that's great. You've got one fish. That's great. So if now you had a bigger rod, you could actually get 3 fish. Oh, okay, great. Yeah. Then what? Then okay, if we then with that with the bigger rod, then you could actually get more money. You could buy nets, and then it'd be like, yeah, great. And then." Well, with more money, then you can buy a trawler or whatever it might be, and then they go, yeah, and then what? And then you can do whatever you want. And then the fisherman says, well, I'll probably just go fish then, with what I got now, and that's kind of what where it kind of there's loads of those type of stories around, but the point is, as you were hinting at there about worldly goods, obviously we need enough to provide for ourselves and live a wholesome life, but no more than that. And yeah,
and the purpose, isn't it? It's like you're saying, why strive and do all of this stuff to spend the majority of your time on this earth doing something you hate, so that you can spend a small amount of your time at retirement, if you're lucky, doing what you want when your body's fucked and your mind might still be all right if you're lucky. Why do people put themselves through it? Why don't we do what we enjoy? And I think it's something that you don't even question. I was obsessed with earning money, like when I was younger, probably partly because of my experiences when I was younger, and it sort of shaped me a certain way where I was obsessed and like very, very worried about money. And so I just went off and just with blinkers on, just fucking after the money. And then You're like, when I get the money, I'm going to be happy. When I get the money, when I've got this car, when I've got this house, when I've got this, and I'm going to be happy. And then you get there and you're like, well, I feel pretty fucking empty here. I'm not enjoying my days. I'm working with a load of dickheads. I don't have any time. I'm tired. What am I doing? And I think people are so busy, especially now with all what's going on with the fiat fuckery, people are kept so busy that they can't even really question what they want to do in life. Like, what makes me happy? Like, are you saying that person just wants to fish? Well, there's probably a lot of people who are in high-powered jobs working 18 hours a day doing something they hate, where they'd actually love to be doing woodworking or just something. They'd love to spend their time doing that. And it's sort of taught to you that you have no value unless you have value, like currency value. You're worthless unless you have that. And that's what people are judged on, which is crazy. You know, like you're saying, it's important to a certain point to put food on the table and to provide for your family and be healthy and, you know, all the rest of it. But why is it that people are thinking the only value out there is money? Do you think that that's something that is pushed in schools because it's very, very convenient for people to be off on that path and not really questioning things?
Yeah, I think it's something that's been taught to us by our parents, isn't it? It's if you work hard enough, you can get anything you want, you know. And that's a great mantra to have when put in the right context. But you know, it's I don't think it's something that's going to. Well, it's definitely not something that is sustainable, and I think that's the key thing. It's for a lot of my friends with young families, both parents having to work. How is that sustainable? How is a it used to be that one person went out to work and the other person was looking after the children, etc. Well, I suppose a long way back it was just two people looking after the children, which was great. And one person working, one person looking after the children, and I just as you say, now it's just got to the point where normal families and communities are broken up by this fiat way of life, this buy things, spend things, create fear, create all these feelings. So you kept going on this treadmill. You're a failure if you don't, whatever, insert fiat thing here. You're a failure if you don't go to the gym. Again, not going to the gym going to the gym is not in itself is not a bad thing. But if you don't have ripped abs and look like Superman or whatever it might be, if you don't have a top executive job or whatever it might be, all these messages that are constantly given to us all the time, and it's just tiring. So
It's a lot of pressure.
It's massive, isn't it? And as far as the next generation underneath us, they have it even worse. So they're so it's going to be even tougher for them. So that's where I think hopefully I'm praying that the revolution will happen there and people will opt into this wonderful gift that's been given to us, and it is an absolute gift. It's the best invention ever. But definitely, it's just so good. It's just unreal. I can't really describe how. I was trying to describe how beautiful it was to someone the other day, and they probably thought I was a right weirdo.
Probably,
probably. They do. They'd be right, and but so we need to grasp this, and we need to this opportunity with both hands, and if we do, I believe that we'll definitely make the world a better place, or make the world somewhere worth living. So
yeah, I think it's like it's allowing people time. People don't have any time anymore. It does definitely feel like people's work days are getting longer. The amount of emails are getting more and more. The amount of stress is getting more and more. the things that they really want to buy are getting further and further away from reality, having a home and these kind of things that are, again, drilled into you at school, like get on the property ladder, do this, do that. And like, there's these kids going, well, I'm working fucking 16 hours a day. I'm doing what I can, but I can't afford the car, let alone you have to finance everything, let alone a fucking house. Don't be ridiculous. But it's still shown in the media as something that's realistic. It's shown, everywhere they go on Facebook or whatever social media platform they use, they'll see that typical picture of either a young couple or someone standing in front of a door with their keys with #new home or something like that. And then they feel like shit because they're like, oh fuck, how have they managed it and I haven't? And most of the time it's because mummy and daddy or grandparent has left them some money and allowed them to have a deposit most of the time. And some people don't have that luxury, and then they're thinking, oh fuck, I'm a failure. And they're not a failure. A lot of these people, they're actually smart, they're working hard, they're doing what they can, but they're being shown a reality that's not actually there. And I think it's screwing with people's minds, and it's something that you constantly see. Suicide rates are going up, and a lot of depression, especially in young males, is going up, and all this stuff. And the only thing that I think is reasonable to assume is because it's this fucking fiat standard, it's forcing these sort of things to happen and get worse at quite a rapid rate. And talking about there's a fork in the road here, I just think it's so clear the difference between the two. And if someone takes the time to learn about Bitcoin and they do invest some money into Bitcoin and they see their value increase, that allows them time to think about their life, to think about what matters, to think about what they want to do. And we only get one shot, we only get one spin, and then it's gone. And to waste it all in a cubicle in an office doing something you hate with people you hate, to buy a fucking handbag or whatever, some bullshit that's got a logo on it that someone like you would sell really well to them.
I like my
what
handbag.
Are they doing?
I like my handbag collection. I'll have you know. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Max.
well, I can't see it today, but the one you were wearing last time we spoke was beautiful. What was it, a Chanel or something?
Come on, mate, Louis Vuitton. Get over it.
Oh, sorry. Get over it.
I had to work, 12 hours down 12 years down Sainsbury's for that.
I was going to say, fucking what job are you doing?
Yes,
12
mate.
hours.
Yeah, 12 hours shoplifting from Sainsbury's. Mate.
I like it.
To do that. But yeah, just out of interest, Matt, how many days do you think on average a person has to live? Put a number to it.
You have 1 billion heartbeats. I know that one.
Let's
but
talk
days. 365
Come on, quickly.
times 8.
Now.
I don't know.
Put a number.
I don't know.
Go.
12.
12 what?
Days.
Okay.
Yeah. You have 12 days to
12
live.
days to live, mate. That's great. That's half an advent calendar. So now you have the answer, and this is a fun little interactive quiz the listeners can do at home. The answer is 27,000. So that's it. That's your lot on average. So it could be less than that. And so when you think about it like that, that's all you've got. So get out there.
That's very scarce.
It is. It's a scarce asset. And, that's the only two assets that matter at the moment are time and the thing closest to time, which is, we talk of store of value. Value is time. So Bitcoin is a store of the best store of time that you could possibly have, So,
that's why people call it a time chain. I've heard that a few times, and it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, 27,000 is not a lot of time on this earth.
It's not, mate. So, but it means I get to spend, what is it now? An hour or so of that time talking to you about Bitcoin. So it's some incredible, positive experiences to be had within that time that we all need to grab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's fantastic, and we're just very lucky to have found this and have persisted and learned about it, and it's already started to change our lives, like you've just said. it's allowing us to speak to people we wouldn't otherwise speak to and experience things we wouldn't otherwise experience. And I'm pretty fucking confident that it is going to change our lives financially as well and give us freedoms that I couldn't have probably imagined a few years ago. And I hope that we all do something special with that, and that we pay it forward in some way and do some good and continue to make this revolution happen. Allow more and more freedom for people, and it could be a very, very exciting world. And I think that's what's cool about what we're doing with 21ism and being able to interact with you guys every day and push these ideas and push this message in a positive, exciting way using art and music. And it's not so approachable for everyone to just say, go and read The Sovereign Individual, go and look at the history of money. Go, most people are like, oh, I'm not going to do that. But you can actually explain to people very well using art and using music. And I think that's something really special.
I agree completely. I think people get it. And, you look at, obviously I've read The Bitcoin Standard by Saif Dean, and, I don't know, I don't agree with some of his statements on art. Oh my word, no.
Yeah, I know. I thought that as well.
It almost turned me off the book. That did. It was this close to put, especially But we've got to work through the mediums that people enjoy, and that's why. And this is a whole nother topic for another day. Why memes are so powerful, because it works in a laughy, jokey way, but also has a very serious message behind them, and it's that way as a marketer to penetrate that logic brain and to get into that, to the lizard brain, the messages. So all those memers out there, which we just seen this week, or it was this week or last week, that managed to get into the mind. Mind, the laser eyes, laser rays till 100k.
I had MTC on last night. It's just gone live a couple of hours before we started speaking, talking about the laser eyes. Yeah, I mean, fuck, they got everywhere.
They did. They got everywhere. Richest man in the world, senators, US senators, absolutely. Just who came up with that? Was it the? I know it was the Lightning Strike team, wasn't it? So was it Greg's ads?
Yeah, it was a group of them, and obviously MTC, and I'm trying to think who else was in. It was RD. Yeah. RD was involved, I think. Who else did they have? I'm trying to think. There was loads. Yeah, Greg, the Labra. Yeah, quite a few of them. But yeah, it's brilliant. It was just just like you say, it's so powerful reaching these people with a meme. Like, you can't reach these people in any other way.
No, it's just people in the first of all, obviously the computer geeks that kind of got Bitcoin understood it to start with. They found it very difficult to make it so eloquent for people. Then you had Bitcoin Standard, whatever it might be. Again, decent book, but just so difficult to get into. God, can you imagine? Like, you can't imagine like people. Well, where I live in this part of the world, anyone even picking up
reading it.
Yeah, it's just the language is really, really difficult. So it's about, and as we said, sailors. Absolutely, he's. Was it you that told me that Sailor's speech pretty much just took down however many hours? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he refined. It was him, and I can't remember the other guy's name now. And yeah, it was 1 hour long. It was obviously rehearsed, but fucking hell, it was concise. It was. I mean, anyone who has any real financial knowledge, not the people who have read the Financial Times and think they know what they're talking about. Anyone who has any real knowledge will listen to that, and they will slap themselves so fucking hard for not buying Bitcoin before, and they will run and get to the closest computer, phone, iPad, whatever, and they will start buying as much as they can.
Yeah, it's just about slowly disseminating these messages, isn't it? And it's almost like a translation process, isn't it? That takes
Mm.
takes time for. I really like Breedlove stuff and all the high level thinking and obviously Seyfriedin's work. And then I'm trying to get through the Sovereign Individual now. I can only do it in short bursts, but it's about disseminating these messages to try and make it more appealing and digestible to the common man rather than just hardcore cyber hornets, that are just going nuts on it, So,
Yeah.
but yeah, here we go. Do you think we'll get to a Bitcoin conference this year, Max?
No, because I refuse to have a vaccine.
Fair enough, mate.
I wish, but out of principle, I spoke to MTC about this yesterday. I'm not fucking having it. I refuse to have it out of principle. And unfortunately, I believe that means I won't be traveling anywhere. I think I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. And I would love to get out to the Miami one. I don't know if
that'd be
have you
unreal.
booked that one.
No, I can't go out there this year, but that would be unreal. I was hoping to look at something perhaps in Europe. If I'm not sure if anything's been scheduled at all.
Yeah, I'd love to as well. I heard Riga was very, very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be well up for it. If we're allowed to travel,
I
then
know.
I'll be.
I know. It's horrible. Ooh, please, can we travel?
Please let me Please let me into a supermarket to buy food.
I know.
Fuckers. Well, like we said, that's why we're here, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
We're doing what we can. This is the best form of protest, and it really is the best form, and there's not a lot else we can do. We can shout and scream all we want, but it does fuck all. The best thing is just stack sats and
be good human beings.
That's it, yeah.
As
be
best
good
as you
human
can.
beings.
Just be kind, generous, and just lead the way. That's it. We just have to be role models for the human race. So if they're following my lead, then the human race is fucked, basically. But
Mine too.
But
no, it's not. It's been really great getting to know you off air, and great to chat a little bit more today and get to know a little bit more about Rebel Money and why you're here. And it's great to be working with you all the time, mate. It really is. It really is a pleasure. But is there any final message or meme you want to put across? Some message you want to refine? Some parting comment or anything that you wanted to say or you're excited about to leave the listeners with?
No, not really, Max. I'm not gonna lie. That's it, mate. You've got it all out of me. Yeah. I just buy Bitcoin. Don't even think about it. Just buy it. That's it. It's. I haven't got any words of wisdom, I'm afraid. Just
Well, that was very good. Just buy Bitcoin. I like it.
Be the fisherman if you want something like
Any advice on handbags quickly?
Yeah, mate. Basically, the sparkly, the better.
Sparkly, the better.
Yeah,
but steal them. Don't buy them, so you can stack sats.
Of course, mate.
Yeah.
That's the most efficient way of doing things, isn't it? So, thank you for having me on your cast.
Still handbags, stack sats.
Yeah, that could be it. In fact, that might be my next art piece. So.
All right, mate. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for producing the art that you are. Anyone who's listening now, go and check out the art. It's really, really fucking cool. And I'm very happy to have popped your virginity and had you on the show before anyone else. It's been great.
Thank you, mate. Can I just make that clear? It's not actual virginity, but podcast virginity. So, but yeah, that's been great. Thank you, mate.
All right, cool. All right, bud. We'll speak soon.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Bye.